Hey guys, I think I'm live now. Um, it is Thursday afternoon, about 1:15. I'm here in front of my computer, where I normally am, but I'm not always on my computer when we start to talk. Today I am, because we might do some Googling um, today. Let's see. So, according to the description, which I should know as the title, as I'm the one who selected it, I thought I'd talk a bit about diet and, of course, yoga and meditation. And if anyone pops on and they want to ask a question, maybe I'll have an answer, maybe not. Um, doesn't matter. The great thing about doing any question and answer wherever, or any questions that are ever directed, it's not about having an answer. It's about exploring possibilities. It's about finding answers together and sort of approaching it scientifically, meaning that no answer is set in stone. Nothing is definite. If someone were to examine my diet, which has taken me a long time to come to the point it is now, very specific. Not everyone needs to eat like me, but they will point out, say, a nutritionist, which I'm not, you could add this in. Really can't see taking anything out. I've eliminated so much. When I had some issues about 2 or so years ago, it turns out much of it was stress related. However, I didn't know that. Um, and I had a misdiagnosis from my doctor, basically telling me that I had a progressive disease that would pretty much get worse. Turns out I didn't have that. Turns out I was in pretty good shape. The initial look at my lungs by my um, regular doctor, which she thought there was something wrong with, when I went to the pulmonologist, um, he said, well, you have really big lungs because you're an endurance runner. Not bad. Especially much better than having a long-term um, illness with no hope of actually getting better. But it turns out I'd made some dietary changes and stuck with it. My diet was never that bad recently. But you know, when you're a vegan and then new vegan products start coming on the market, you start trying it, you start opening up to things, you start eating vegan forms of food that you gave up a while back. I think I was in that last little sliver when I became a vegan where, you know, food was still kind of iffy. You had soy burgers that tasted like those burgers you got when you were in school, the school cafeteria burgers, which were probably soy burgers, or at least partially so. Um, and the cheap food just wasn't that good. Here's the thing. You don't need cheap food. You don't need to replace, you don't need to become vegan and replace your hamburgers with fake burgers. They taste good now. The Impossible Burger, Beyond Beef, and all the offshoots and different types. They even have like vegan salmon, vegan fish. The vegan fish by, oh shoot, I don't remember the company. I'll look it up and try to remember it for tomorrow. It tastes remarkably like fish. I had to look at the package and make sure that I didn't make a mistake. However, you don't need it. Whole foods, as fresh as possible, and you'll be doing okay. Some adjustments, you know, as your taste catches up with your ethics, but it'll get there. I eat a lot of oatmeal, a lot of berries, a handful of nuts every day, a lot of fruit, bananas and apples, and rice, lentils. I season it with turmeric, a little bit of pepper. Pepper helps activate turmeric. So if you're taking turmeric or using it in your diet, make sure you're either using it with black pepper or the supplement that you're taking has black pepper in it. And a little bit of flaxseed. I have flaxseed in my oatmeal, flaxseed in my rice and lentils. And pretty fair amount of greens. I use Ezekiel bread, which is a live food. Good bread. Takes some getting used to. People try it at first and think it's dry. I've grown to really like it. The taste itself has an earthiness to it. Has that live food. And then I finish off my day usually with a smoothie. Scoop of plant-based protein. Debatable if I need it or not. However, because I'm so active, because I still have that little bit of condition from the bodybuilding days, I get some extra protein. It's plant-based. I either use it or my body eliminates it. I cut back on my protein a while back, even before I became vegan, listening to my dad's kidney doctor talk about my dad had kidney disease. He cut back on his protein and it never progressed from the first stage. There's 3 stages. I believe he was in the initial stage, and I don't know if that's stage 3 and it progresses to 1, or if it's 1 and progresses to 3. So I'm not going to say. Just let you know that it was in the initial stage, and he kept it in check for probably 15 years, maybe more. But the doctor said that, yes, he sees it all the time. He treats kidney disease all the time, and that everybody of a certain age, if they live long enough, will experience either kidney disease or some type of kidney damage because of the amount of protein that we take in. He didn't say because of the amount of animal protein we take in, but further studies have gone to show that plant protein is not damaging to the kidneys. It's also hard to get excess of plant protein. You can do it, of course, you can get excess of anything, but it takes a lot of effort, and chances are, because of the high fiber content of plant-based foods, plants, I should just say, you're going to fill up before you'll get uncomfortable, before you get to that point, which is an important thing, that eating a plant-based diet, even if you're eating meat, the value to that is the addition of the fiber that you put in, so you are going to fill a lot quicker. It's high volume food as well as being nutritionally dense, so you can eat more and more and more, but you don't need to. That's another thing, excess calories. That, for years I ate to get bigger, to get stronger, and then for performance. The funny thing is, it seldom occurred to me to eat for health, to eat for well-being, to eat to reduce inflammation. And I wonder for how many people that even occurs. If you look at every, commercial for, some type of dietary supplement, it's always protein, now has 10 extra grams of protein or whatever. You don't need that much. You honestly don't need as much protein as we get, because you get protein in everything you eat, including plants. I usually top out probably close to 100 grams a day with no effort whatsoever, with the exception of putting in that scoop of plant-based protein. Right now I'm using Vega, only because Mocha bought it for me. I'm just as happy um, getting my protein from Giant, which has a pretty decent um, plant-based protein. Two versions, regular plant-based and plant-based in greens. You probably get very little greens. You're in that drink. You're better off actually eating greens. My main big meal for the day is what many people would, well, everyone would consider lunch, with the exception of very old people who would consider it dinner. But mine's even earlier than that. My dinner is earlier than the 4 o'clock special at Denny's or any place like that. And the reason is that I try to stick to the yogic diet, the Sattvic diet, which is getting the large amount of your calories earlier in the day. Having a pretty big breakfast, having your really big meal later, either late morning, or early afternoon. For me, it's usually early afternoon, between 11:30 and 12, usually. Sometimes closer to 1. And then a lighter meal before, don't eat after 6 a.m. Which is important for me because I go to bed early. I'm generally, unless I can't sleep, I'm asleep by 8 o'clock because I get up so early. Again, none of this is recommendation, getting up early or any of that. Although, setting up your diet that way, I believe is important. Having that yogic diet for your overall well-being and energy level, because we forget how much effort and how much effect that digestion takes on the body. So much energy. And of course I mean you, the average American, the average Western diet probably, eats more animal products than they need to. Note, I didn't say quit eating animals. I'm thinking it, but I didn't say it out loud. And that takes more to digest. More effort, more energy. Energy that could be spent recovering, actually. It is weird that, we think in terms of getting in all this protein to help muscle recovery, to help performance, and we don't consider the fact that all of that animal protein that we're taking in for muscle recovery is also cutting down on the energy that we have for that to happen. So it's a catch-22 situation. You'd be better off, in my opinion, although supported by many studies, is eating a higher protein plant-based diet, cutting back on the meat. When I say plant-based, I don't mean vegan, even vegetarian for that matter. I mean less animal product, less animal protein, more plants. Simple as that. So you're still getting in meat, you're just reducing it for your own benefit, for the benefit of your digestion, for the benefit of your well-being and your health, for the benefit of the animal. Almost the most important thing for me, and the benefit of the planet. Help the planet, help animals, it's a win-win for me. A ridiculous thing, I'm not going to mention his name, I don't like calling people out, but it's well known in the fitness world, fairly well known in the fitness world, I should say. Not one of the huge names, but a pretty big name. Had an Instagram account, still has it, where I actually unfollowed him though, where he is on a carnivorous diet, and he talks of the ridiculousness of being vegan and how vegans don't like to talk about all the more animals that killed in the production of grains and soy than the animals that are in a factory farm, which is, again, absolutely ridiculous, because the majority of soy and grains that are produced go to feed cattle, poultry, for you to eat meat. It takes very little grains and soybeans to feed the entire world. It takes an awful lot to feed animals, so that someone, some people, a group of people, a nation, nations, can eat in a very, I hate using the term privilege because it's been, overused, overworked, and people get up in arms when they hear it. But in order to eat the way the average American eats, it's a privilege. And not everyone has that. Simple fact. However, if we were to reduce the amount of meat that we ate, we would be able to feed the people who are starving, because they would have that grains, the soy, basic necessities of life in order to get the calories that they need to eat. So, a little bit of a soapbox conversation. I apologize for that. It is important for me to reduce the suffering of animals, as well as address climate crisis. Again, not everyone is going to agree with that, which is why I talk about plant-based instead of vegan, because everyone can go plant-based as long as it includes eating the things that you enjoy. That's part of the yogic diet, where you want to eat sattvic food. Sattvic is, it actually means in Sanskrit purity, pure, high quality. And the sattvic is grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, fruit, sprouts, vegetables. I believe I said fruits already. These are foods that are said in yogic lore to raise our consciousness, as well as promote optimum health. The purer you eat, the purer the body. Doesn't mean you eliminate that, it's going to be 100%. There is Ragistic and Tamistic food, which are the food. The Tamistic produces heat. Let me look that up real quick. I don't want to get that wrong. Tamasic is foods that are heavy and dull. Red meat, chicken, fish, mushrooms, onions, garlic, potatoes. I do eat potatoes. Winter squash. I have a potato with my red potato diced up with my rice, as well as the lentils. Yogis always had it in for garlic and onions. I believe it is said to increase inflammation. If you read Joel Fuhrman diet, who I like, appreciate an awful lot, he really helped me turn that corner into the whole foods plant-based diet. He is very much into garlic and onion, as well as mushrooms, for immune system. So, we take these things in consideration. He's really big on mushrooms. And then, of course, there's the McDougall, Dr. McDougall. His diet is based upon starches, where you eat tons of potatoes, and I've done a version of that as well. Very good for ultra running, actually. And of course, preservatives, artificial ingredients, artificial sweeteners, alcohol, recreational drugs, unripe fruit, fried or burned foods, frozen and canned foods, refined grains. I do have some frozen fruit in my smoothie. Some frozen berries. It's just easier. And the way we flash freeze things now, it pertains to nutritional quality. So again, we work with what we have, and we make these adjustments. Ragistic food is foods that are spicy and stimulating: eggs, onions and garlic, um, radishes, eggplants, hot peppers, tomatoes, sea vegetables. It's another thing. Tomatoes. I'm not big on tomatoes themselves. Not recommended in the yogic diet. However, uh, tomato sauce is very good for men for prostate health. Something to consider. Fermented foods and yogurt, and again, you can mix some of that in your diet. Refined sugars, caffeinated drinks. It is well known, if anyone has seen any of my shorts, that I drink a cup of coffee a day. Just 1 cup. Heavily salted food, spicy, junk and fast foods. These are all foods that, in the yogic sense, would we consider impure. Impure doesn't necessarily mean off limits. It means that it is not purifying the body in the same way that the sattvic foods do. Sattvic, again, meaning purity. Considered foods that are pure, light, and sweet. Whole grains, they include milk and ghee. Ghee is that butter, sort of fermented butter, used often in East Indian cuisine. I'm not big on milk. Produces, interferes with breathing, actually. Produces a certain amount of phlegm, as well as we are not meant to drink the milk of other animals. Just, we can. We're really not meant to. It's not best for us. Milk from a cow is designed to take a baby cow weighing, 60, 70 pounds into a full-grown 400-pound cow. That's all it's designed to do. It's not designed to be continuously eaten by or consumed by people. Beans and legumes, big in my diet. Sweet fruits, big in my diet. Fresh vegetables, big in my diet as well. Herbs and spices in small amounts. Again, I use turmeric, I use pepper, sometimes a little bit of cayenne pepper, not often. Natural sweeteners, honey. I'm hit and miss with honey. As a vegan, I'm supposed to say no to honey. I have used it in the past. It has actually helped me with some throat issues. Cold pressed oils. I am not big on oils. Any type of oil it's a processed refined food. It's 120 calories of pure fat. So if you are consuming a lot of oil on your salad to get your fresh fruits in, you are consuming a lot of fat, 120 calories that don't fill you up. You could take a tablespoon of of oil, olive oil, let's say, and down it. It would be gross, but you could do that, and you just consumed 120 calories of fat, and it takes up a micro space in your gut. You could take a large banana and eat it, and it is a storehouse of nutrients and fiber, and you would feel not, stuffed, relatively full in comparison to what you just did with the oil. Take that into consideration, especially if you're dieting. So the goal in the yogic diet, the goal in Ayurveda, which is a sister science of yoga, is to gradually eat more food that are sattvic in quality, less of the rajasic and tamasic foods. Sounds simple enough. You can just get a chart. I have a chart up here on Google. You just make selections from that. If you like onions and garlic and mushrooms, potatoes, don't have an issue with them, include them in small amounts and increase the amount of the sattvic food to balance things out. That's what it's about, finding that balance. In this way, it not only supports your health, your well-being, but your yoga practice as well. It is decreasing inflammation, it is helping you be loose and limber, and it'll help you sit in meditation. Because the goal of meditation, the goal of yoga, is to move from the personality traits of the phragistic and tamistic qualities that we all possess. We possess all three of those qualities as a human. But the goal of yoga and meditation is to progressively eliminate the impurities and reach that sattvic state of purity. So when we do yoga postures, we are actually purifying the body when we do the same thing in our diet. That's yoga in a nutshell. It leads towards sitting longer periods of time in meditation. So, coming up on the 30-minute mark, and I talked mostly about diet, which is okay. Nice change of pace. If anyone ever has any questions, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a diet expert. I've done a lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of research for myself. I don't want to be one of those people who say I've done my own research. The research that I've done is what works best for me. So take that in consideration. It's not, could very well be not what works best for you. So, again, when I say I do my own research, that's for me. I'm not making any declaration. And as I said, I'm always open and I'm always researching. So there's no foregone conclusion that this is what's always going to work for me. However, I'm often asked if science said we've come to the point where we know all the evidence is in and the worst diet possible for you is to be a vegan. That's a shame because I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan for ethical reasons. That won't change. I'd have to make the best of what I'm doing. I could possibly include honey. I could possibly include eggs from a small farm where the chickens aren't harmed whatsoever and they're not kept in a perpetual state of pregnancy to keep laying eggs. But yeah, no milk because dairy cows are kept in that perpetual state of pregnancy in order to produce milk. However, I don't think science is ever going to reach that point where they say this is the worst diet in the world. But again, we all make our decisions. All right, guys, let's end it there for today. But again, if anyone has any questions, I'm not saying that I'm here to give you answers, but we'll explore things together and see what we come up with. That's the important thing. I will see you guys tomorrow. Burpee day. Every day is burpee day. It might be a supercharged burpee day. We'll see. Take care, guys.